Thank you so much for joining us today at Everyday Yoga. This is a recording of a live class via Zoom. We are doing an evening kind of a restorative flow, and we're also going to focus on creating positive energy. I have with me 2 blocks here. If you have any cushions or blankets or pillows or towels you can fold up, go ahead and gather them around you and have them nearby. You never know when they might come in handy to support your practice. One thing I want to talk about blocks is when you are in an in-person yoga class. The instructor might tell you to grab a couple blocks or whatever, and they might tell you, okay, we're going to do this particular pose, this particular asana. And if you need it, or if you can't quite reach the floor, or something like that, go ahead and use a block. So we kind of have this negative connotation that we're weak if we use the block. It's a crutch. We shouldn't have to. If we were tall enough, strong enough, limber enough, flexible enough, we wouldn't need it. But that's not what blocks are for. Blocks are here to support our practice, to help the poses fit our bodies rather than make our bodies fit the poses, and to bring ease to our practice. So today I am using 2 blocks. Sitting cross-legged can sometimes be a little difficult on the ankles, on the hips, on the knees. So we're going to sit in hero's pose, which is traditionally just sitting back on our heels. But instead of just sitting back on our heels or just sitting on one block, we're going to stack the blocks just like this, and we're going to use them as a chair. I'm just kind of straddling them. And instead of sitting on my heels, I am sitting on my 2 stacked blocks. Try that out and see how that feels in your body. You might feel like one block would fit your body better, so maybe try that also. For me personally, I like having 2 blocks. It helps me to feel lifted. It helps my spine to be nice and long. I can, if I want to meditate or if I want to be in a seated position for any kind of length of time, it brings a little bit of ease and ability to that. And even better, my legs aren't all folded up and they're not numb when I go to stand up. It's also useful to keep in mind that when yoga was first created a couple millennia ago, it was created by monks who wanted to train these young boys, and it was boys because they didn't educate girls back then, but that's a whole nother story. But they wanted to get these young boys to a point where they were all flexible, all limbered up, they had worked out all of their energy, and they could sit and meditate for long, quiet periods of time. So these practices were created for these young, limber, athletic boys. And most of us today, especially in the Western world, are women who are mature and who have maybe had injuries or trauma in our lives. And so be willing to give yourself a little bit of self-care. And notice throughout your practice today how you can bring even more self-care to your practice. Would using a blanket be helpful? Would inviting your kitty to come in and spend the time with you be helpful? Come on, princess, I'm right here. I hope you can hear her, otherwise I look like a loon just talking to nobody. So let's go ahead and begin. So after you have found your nice, comfortable seat, go ahead and let's just loop the shoulders up towards the ears a couple of times and take them down and back. And maybe the last time you'll bring them all the way up and then intentionally draw the shoulders as far away from the ears as you can. And then we'll push into the tops of the thighs just enough to draw the crown of the head and the tips of the ears towards the sky. And then we'll release that and just find ease here in this nice, tall, beautiful, long spine. Let the elbows be heavy towards the floor. And just notice the contact of your shins, the tops of your feet on the earth. Notice your knees on your mat. Notice your sit bones on the support of your blocks. And if it feels comfortable for you, go ahead and close your eyes and go inward. And for just this practice, for just this period of time, I invite you to let go of the past, let go of the future. Nothing to worry about right now. This is your time for self-care. This is your time to find awareness and presence. But even more, just a little bit deeper, let go of who you were. Let go of your name. Let go of your occupation. Let go of your status in life. Let go of your titles, whether it's mother, daughter, sister, friend, parent, child, whatever it might be. And just let all of that go. And just be. Tap in to that inner divine magnificence that is your true core. You might call it your spirit. You might call it your soul. And then bring your attention to your breath. Maybe imagine that your breath is your spirit. And as you inhale, invite that soulful self that is you deep into your innermost being. And as you exhale, release it out into the world to nourish all the plants and the trees that are around you. Take a big inhale, drawing in the oxygen created by those plants and trees around you, their spirit, if you will. This beautiful symbiotic relationship that we have with nature here on this planet. Notice the contact of your legs on the floor. Notice the contact of your sit bones on your blocks. Reestablish that nice, long, beautiful spine. Let's go ahead and inhale and lift the arms out alongside the body and reach the fingertips up towards the sky. Bring the palms together and press the palms toward one another over the crown of the head. Drawing in that divine energy. Noticing palm touching palm. Noticing fingers touching fingers. Noticing fingerprints, fingertips, thumb tips touching the contact here. Drawing the elbows away from one another and opening up through the armpits. One more big inhale here, and then exhale, drawing all of that divine energy down into your heart center. In the Western world, we have a particular culture where we label such practices as crazy or foo-foo or out there, but humor yourself, humor me for just this practice. And let yourself be the divine spiritual being that you are. Watch the breath and imagine the breath is that divine spirit. Allow it to be generous. Allow it to fill you up. Allow it to be full and broad and expansive. And let's flow with the breath. Let's inhale again, drawing the arms up alongside the ears. And as we exhale, let's just take a nice gentle twist over to the right. Bring that left hand to the right thigh or knee, wherever it naturally comes to. And just bring the right hand to the right hip here and draw that right elbow back towards the wall behind you. You might want to keep your gaze out in front here. You might want to keep it in line with your heart. Or maybe you want to glance back over that right shoulder. Inhale and lengthen the spine, drawing the crown of the head and the tips of the ears up towards the sky. And exhale to soften into your twist. One more full breath here. And then we'll inhale, coming back to center, raising the arms up towards the sky again, and exhale, twisting to the left. Bring that right hand to the left thigh, and the left hand to the left hip, and experiment a little bit, seeing where your gaze is most comfortable for you today. And find length with every inhalation. Find softness or depth to the twist with every exhalation. And then let's inhale and raise the arms up again towards the sky. And we'll exhale to release, hands to heart center. Let's press those palms in towards one another. Let's inhale here. Stay for the exhale. And we're going to do a little isometric movement here. So the next time you inhale, bring the right hand in front and the left hand in back and hook the fingers together and pull them apart, lifting the heart. And as you exhale, press the palms together. Inhale again, and this time the right hand comes behind and the left in front. Inhaling, lifting the heart. Exhale, pressing the hands together. And let's continue doing that here. Inhale to pull the elbows apart. Exhale to press. Switch hands and inhale, lifting the heart. Exhale to press. Keep on doing this movement, moving with your breath. And if you kind of get a little discombobulated with which hand's supposed to go on the front, don't worry about it too much. You're still getting that wonderful lifting of the heart, the drawing away of the shoulder blades down the ears. We'll take one more in each direction. And then we'll exhale back to center, bringing the hands to the heart. Let's lift those arms up again, coming into our victorious pose here. Drawing those pinkies in towards one another, letting the shoulder blades come away from each other and down the back. Take an inhale here, and as we exhale, let's wrap the right arm on top, the left arm on bottom, giving yourself a nice big hug. Maybe draw those fingertips a little farther down the shoulder blades so you can get really in there and give yourself that hug. Breathing here. Maybe staying here, or maybe going a little bit deeper into the shoulder blades by kind of bringing the elbows together into a V position and kind of pressing the right elbow into that left forearm. And notice how that changes things in the shoulder blades. You may want to stay here, or you might want to bring the backs of the hands towards one another. And to go even deeper, you can bring the palms together, coming into eagle arms here. So lots of options, staying with the hug, coming to full eagle arms, whichever feels good. And wherever you are, we're going to inhale and lift the elbows up towards the sky. And then exhale, drawing the elbows down towards the earth, rounding the shoulders here. Inhale, lifting the elbows up towards the sky, arching the back, kind of doing a little cat-cow movement here with these eagle arms. Lots of animals involved in asanas, yoga poses. Inhaling up. Exhaling, rounding the back, drawing the belly button towards the spine. And the next time you inhale, we'll unravel the arms, open them up towards the side, and just let them come down to the sides and maybe shake them out just a little bit. Let's inhale, lifting the arms up to our victorious pose. And then we'll exhale, hugging the opposite arm on top, left arm on top this time. Staying here before you move any deeper, allowing your body to kind of acclimate to this hug. Hugging that inner magnificence that is you. Breathing here. And then maybe taking that V-shaped position, pressing that left elbow into the right forearm and noticing what happens to the shoulder blades. Maybe bringing the backs of the hands towards one another. Maybe wrapping the right palm around to the left, coming into your eagle arms. Breathe into those shoulder blades. And then we flow. Inhaling, elbows to the sky, coming into your cow back. Exhaling, elbows down towards the earth, cat back. Inhaling, lifting the elbows, coming into your bovine pose, and exhaling, rounding the back, feline pose. Couple more times, moving with your breath. Breathing into those shoulder blades. The next time you inhale, let's unravel the arms, bring them up to victorious pose, and then exhale, releasing them down towards the earth and just shaking them out a little bit here. So let's go ahead and come to a high kneeling, coming off the blocks, taking your blocks with you though, and bringing them to the front of the mat. We're going to go ahead and step that left foot forward, coming into a nice low lunge here. And then we're going to go ahead and reach down for the blocks. The blocks can be in the lowest setting, they can be in the medium setting, they can be in the high setting. And if you like, you can inch that right knee back so that you've got some more space created here in the hip flexor. When we open up the hip flexor, we're telling the body it's safe to be here. Because when we are in a stress response, we tend to be all bunched up like this because we're self-protected. But when we can open up, we can give the body a little cue here that we're safe in this moment. Go ahead and adjust the belly or the breasts to come inside that left thigh. So you've got plenty of space here. And find your Dandasana back. Find the shoulder blades down the back. Find that lifted heart. Tuck the chin. Draw the crown of the head away from the tailbone. And just breathe into that right hip. Breathe that spirit into the hip, releasing any tension with every exhale. And then the next time you inhale, go ahead and straighten the left leg, bring the blocks with you. And we're just gonna kind of flex and point that left foot. Getting a little bit of a stretch here in the back of the right thigh and that hamstring. You might want to adjust where your blocks are here. Maybe you want to come a little bit deeper. Maybe you like how it feels to keep the sole of the foot pressed to the mat, or maybe it feels better to keep the toes pointed at the sky, or maybe it feels better to continue with that dynamic movement. You're the creator of this practice. You decide what works best for you. Once you find a spot that you like, let's inhale and find that Tadasana back. And as we exhale, let's round the head, round the back, and let the head be heavy. Notice how that changes the feeling in the left leg. Inhale, finding that nice long spine, that Tadasana back. And exhale, rounding forward, letting the head be heavy. One more time, let's inhale for that nice straight back. Exhale to round forward. And the next time we inhale, we'll bring the left knee back over the left ankle, and we'll come back to our high kneeling again. This time we'll get the opposite side, stepping that right knee forward. And I'm gonna grab a little hair tie here. I forgot to tie my hair back today. Get that out of the way, and we'll come into our lunge on the opposite side. Make some room for the torso here on the inside of the right thigh. Don't want to squish anything here. We want to create space. Maybe the back toes feel better curled under, or maybe the top of the foot is better down. Maybe it's better for your hips to have the left hip or left knee underneath the left hip, or maybe it feels better to open up a bit more. You decide. This is your practice you're creating today. Find your Tadasana back. Breathe into that left hip flexor. Opening up the body. Finding spaciousness. Allowing the breath, allowing the spirit to flow. Remembering who you are right now in this moment. That magnificence that is you. One more breath here, and then we'll send the hips back, finding length in that front leg, flexing and pointing and finding a place that feels good to you. Just exploring, being curious meaning, what does this do in my body if I stay here? What does this feel like in my body if I stay here? Be aware of what those changes are. Let's find a place where we can be still, and then let's inhale for that Tadasana back, and exhale to send the curve into the back of the spine, drawing the head towards the earth. Inhale, finding your length. Exhale, rounding down towards the knee. Inhale, length. Exhale, depth. Stay for a full breath. And then we'll inhale, stacking the right knee over the right ankle and coming back into our high kneeling pose. Now let's do a little camel pose practice, opening up the front line of the body, Opening up through the heart. Again, telling the body that in this moment we're safe, so that we can really focus on our breath and our spirit and our vibration. So with Camel Pose, we can bring the blocks alongside the ankles. We can have the tops of the feet down, or we can curl the toes under, whichever feels most stable to you. Go ahead and come to that high kneeling pose and find your Dandasana back. And then we're going to bring the hands to the low back, fingers pointed down. So the heels of the hands are right about at your waistline. Fingers are pointed down towards the calves. We'll draw the elbows back towards one another. Lift the heart, gently lift the gaze. Push the thighs forward. This is our Camel Pose. Inhale here, and then exhale to release. If we want to go a little deeper, a little bit further, let's bring the hands to the small of the back again. We'll lift the heart, draw the elbows towards one another, press into the thighs, and maybe take the hands down to the backs of the thighs, drawing the collarbones away from one another, drawing the shoulder blades towards one another. Looking up towards the sky or keeping the chin tucked depending on where your neck is tonight. We'll inhale here, and then we'll come back to high kneeling. Going a step deeper, this time we'll use the blocks. Either come to one of the first two steps. If that's where you're comfortable, stay there. If it compromises your breathing, if it compromises your spirit, don't do it. If you're not happy there, don't do it. Stay where you're happy. So we'll start here with the fingertips pointing down towards the calves. We'll lift the heart, lift the gaze gently, draw the elbows towards one another. Maybe take the hands to the backs of the tops of the thighs, or maybe bring the hands to your blocks in their highest position and take a little back bend here. Dropping the head if that feels good in the neck. When you're ready, bring the hands to the backs of the thighs, tuck the chin in towards the heart, bring the hands to the small of the back, and let's release, just sitting down into our hero's pose for a moment. Notice your energy in your body. Notice how you feel. Just breathe here with that lifted heart. And then let's come back into our Camel Pose again, keeping the blocks where they are, or maybe taking them down to the medium position, or maybe seeing if curling the toes under and bringing the heels up are high enough. So we'll come back to high kneeling, and remember, stop anywhere that supports you. Bring the palms to the small of the back. Press the hips forward, lift the heart, lift the gaze. Step one. This is still camel. Whether you go into the deepest possibility of the pose or you're right here at the very beginning, you're still getting all of the benefits. If you want to go deeper, let those palms travel down to the thighs. If you want to use the blocks in any of their positions, reach for the blocks. Or maybe you might reach back for one heel and then the other. Lift the heart, drop the head, open up the front of the body. Breathe. To come out, we'll just back everything out, tuck the chin. Bring the hands to the thighs and then the small of the back. and then settle down into your hero's pose. And do this one last time, and then we're gonna flow with it. Take a breath here, reestablish that connection with your innermost being, with your breath. We'll come into high kneeling pose. Any variation, if you think you want to go deeper, you might try with the tops of the feet flat on the floor, or bring your blocks or your heels wherever is most supportive to you. We'll bring the hands to the small of the back, and we'll begin here. Opening up through the heart, lifting the gaze, pressing the thighs forward, and then gradually making your way to your fullest expression of the pose. Coming out when you're ready, lifting to high kneeling, and this time we'll curl the toes under, reach back for the heels, and let the crown of the head come towards the earth. This is kind of a counter pose here. Press the heels into the hands, press and lift the small of the back, finding that counter pose here. And then we'll come on back to high kneeling. And we're gonna do that camel flow. That was hare pose with the crown of the head on the earth. So find a camel that feels good to you. We're gonna inhale camel, and then exhale, bringing the crown of the head down into hare pose. So we're moving a little bit faster here. So inhale, find your camel. Exhale, bending forward, bringing the crown of the head to the earth, pressing into the small of the back up towards the sky. Inhale, lifting into camel pose. Exhale, counter pose, hare pose, crown of the head to the earth. One last time, let's inhale into your camel. Exhale into hare pose. And we'll stay here, letting the tops of the feet come to the earth and coming back into snail pose. Child's pose with the arms alongside the calves, palms up towards the sky. Breathe into that back body. Maybe rock a little gently from side to side. Find a little massage across the forehead. Breathe into that low back, finding expansion. And when you exhale, just see if you can allow the arms and the shoulders to just be heavy and kind of melt down towards the earth. And then we're just going to slowly roll up one vertebra at a time, like a brand new blade of grass peeking up from the earth, coming into our hero's pose. Maybe turning the palms up on the thighs rather than down. Allowing yourself to be open to receiving new wonderful things into your life. Maybe allowing yourself to think about serving or giving of all the goodness that is you. And then we'll come into another pose with both blocks. This time we'll swing the legs out to right or left, or cross the legs and sit back over the ankles. We're going to kind of do a supported fish pose, or a supported sort of reclined camel here. It might take a little fussing to get into, to adjust, but basically you're going to want the first block in the medium setting to come right across the back, just about where a bra strap would be. And then the other block will be in its highest setting at the base of the skull. So we've got the first block crosswise, medium setting. Second block vertical, highest setting. Bring the sit bones to the earth, the soles of the feet to the mat. Reach back for that first block and find a good spot on the shoulder blades. Reach back for the second block and place it right at the base of the skull. You can have the palms down, or you can turn the palms up towards the sky. You might want to make some adjustments here. If I was there with you in person and I had your permission to touch you, I would make these adjustments for you, and maybe someday we'll have that opportunity. You can keep the knees pointed up towards the sky and parallel, or you might want to step the soles of the feet out as wide as the mat and allow the knees to fall inward to support each other. Or you might want to take Baddha Konasana here, butterfly pose, opening the knees out to either side and bringing the soles of the feet together here and really allowing yourself to just be open. And breathe here. Notice where you can soften. Notice where you can relax. Notice where you can let go. Allow the body to just melt towards the earth. We'll just stay here for 5 full breaths. Breathing, expanding the front of the body, expanding the belly, expanding the heart. Exhaling softness, kindness, compassion. Breathing in love, grace, generosity. Exhaling forgiveness, acceptance, and joy. Let those words resonate within you, or maybe words of your own creation that support you in creating positive thoughts and positive energy, those golden glimmers of joy and kindness and love. Again, in our Western world, we might poo-poo that sort of talk. But the more we can create that within ourselves, the more we can feel that. And the more we can feel that, the more we can create it in the world. When you're ready to let go of this pose, bring the knees back towards the ceiling if they're not already there, and the soles on the earth. Press into the elbows, tuck the chin, and push into the palms to lift yourself back up off the blocks. And then we will find our final Savasana. Final Savasana can be traditional Savasana. Let's start though with a big good morning stretch, bringing the full body down to the mat, reaching the toes and the fingertips as far away from one another as you can possibly get. Stretching long through one side of the body and then reaching and stretching long through the other side of the body, almost like you're climbing a ladder. And then find your final Savasana, either here flat on the back with the heels at the bottom corners of your mat, toes pointed out towards the sides and just soft and relaxed. Heart lifted up towards the sky, chin tucked, arms and palms open to the sky. Savasana, corpse pose. If this is not comfortable for you, there are lots of options. You can put your blocks underneath your knees. You can come into a reclined Baddha Konasana with the soles of the feet together. You could come into our constructive rest pose with the soles of the feet as wide as the mat and the knees coming in towards one another to support each other. You could even bring the palms to the belly if you prefer to do that. So find whatever is comfortable for you. Get cozy, someplace where you can relax. Let's come back to that idea of just letting go of everything you have been, everything people told you you should be, and come into that innermost divine, magnificent being that you truly are. Maybe tapping into the thought that everything is possible. There is nothing on this earth that you could want that you cannot have. Maybe even thinking about what you would like to have more of in your life, and then imagine that it is already done. And notice how that feels in your body. Imagine having your innermost desires, your most glorious dreams true right this second. How does that feel in your body, in your spirit? We can find that divine joy within ourselves whenever we want to create it. And we can use the experiences of our earthly life to point us in that direction. So maybe think of something in your life that brings you joy. Maybe it's a furry family member. Maybe it's a feathered family member. Maybe it's a beautiful sunset or your nice, warm, cozy bed. Just something that just makes you go, and as you think of that thing, let's just find 3 cleansing breaths there. Inhaling through the mouth, exhale, or inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the mouth, letting it go with a nice, big, audible sigh. So we'll inhale together and exhale to let it go. 2 more times. One more. And then find your breath back in your nose. Tuck the chin. Relax the face. Allow all the limbs and the torso to be heavy. Allowing gravity to support you from above and from below. Letting the body take over the breath, your partner here on this planet. And we'll just take a few more quiet, still breaths here. Allowing those good, juicy feelings you just created to just flow through you. allowing the thought of your innermost dreams to be true, allowing the magnificence that is you to be here now. And then when you're ready, begin to wiggle the toes a little bit, and then the fingers. Maybe find some rotation in the wrists and the ankles in one direction, and then the other. And then let's come back to that big good morning stretch here, and then make a big X shape with the body on your mat. Drawing the hands to the top corners and the feet to the bottom corners. Inhale here, and as you exhale, bring the right hand and the right foot over to the left, coming into a nice little side body stretch, this banana asana. Maybe interlacing the fingers, maybe crossing the ankle, that right ankle over the left ankle. Take a big breath into the right side body here. And the next time you inhale, come back to your nice big X shape. And then exhale, left hand, left foot over towards the right. Maybe interlacing fingers, maybe crossing the left ankle over the right and getting a nice side body stretch on the left side. Taking a full breath here, expanding the whole left side body. Inhale back to center, and then bend one knee and then the other. Take the arms out wide into a nice T shape, and we'll just windshield wiper the knees to one side and the gaze to the opposite side. Getting a last little twist in here. Getting a little movement in the neck. Getting a last little massage across the low back. And then we'll bring the hands to the backs of the thighs and draw the knees in towards the heart and create a little playful momentum here, rocking up and down the spine and giving yourself a little massage across the full length of the back body. And when you're ready, roll to a seated position. Let's come into Dandasana, staff pose. This nice tall L shape, legs out straight in front of you, maybe with a gentle bend, maybe straight. Toes pointed up towards the sky, and we'll walk the fingertips out to the sides and lift the heart, draw the shoulder blades down the back, tuck the chin, take a full breath here. And then we'll inhale the arms out to the sides and up towards the sky, bringing the palms together and exhaling hands down to heart center. The light, the divine, the joy that is within me sees, respects, and honors the light, the divine, and the joy within you. Namaste.